makes them tired. So just good thing to know, okay, ladies? Okay, so next point. Men produce less testosterone, which is pivotal to combat their stress levels. Therefore, more stress, more heart issues. So refer back to what was said about intimacy weekly to combat this, okay? I'll let that go. Another part of the brain, the amygdala, is actually smaller in women, okay? That is the part of the brain that says, hey, it's going to be okay. If it's smaller in women, i.e. larger in men, then they're able to not stress about the small things. That's why it's the middle to large things that they stress about. That's why, and men don't do this, they will often say, hey, it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Let it go. They're not stressing. It's not because they don't care. It's because they have a larger amygdala than we do. We don't have that self-calming mechanism. We do that by talking. And so our hippocampus, 8% larger, remember, allows us to pull in old stuff when it's needed to problem solve. And that's why we remember things he did, 10 years ago, driving him crazy. And he has this calming technique that says, don't worry about it. You can imagine the conflicts that arise from all of this. So guess what she does? When she gets frustrated, here comes all the problems and issues come rushing in because of that hippocampus. And remember all that stuff. And he remembers all the trivial stuff and is able to calm and not even get stressed about the smaller things. That's exactly what we stress about as women. So, because of the increased serotonin in men don't need conversation. Because again, that big amygdala reminds them that everything's going to be okay. But men, like I said, don't say to a woman, calm down, it's going to be okay. Or it's in the past, forget about it, leave it alone. Because men, it will not help your case at all. I'm sure you probably know that by now. Just let her talk, because remember, the talking increases her oxytocin. She's able to calm, and you're just listening, and do not problem solve unless she says, what would you do about this? Women, don't expect him to read your mind. If you just want him to hear you and listen to you, say that. If you want a solution, say that. Remember, that's what he's wired for, is to problem solve, and he needs to be needed. So he would love to help solve your problem. Also, don't be surprised if all of a sudden somebody else steps in, like a friend or a colleague, to solve a problem. He may not say it, but it may bother him that he wasn't the one to get to solve it. So just notice that, okay? Another point, women need romance, men don't. Okay, that was kind of a big shocker to some of us, but the day before Valentine's. Women need romance, men don't. So women, you have to ask for what you need. Remember, say it once with a few words so that it's perceived as what you need, not needy. For example, if you want to go out on a date and him to plan it, say that. Men deal in the moment. They don't plan for the future necessarily unless it's at work and it's required and they've got that testosterone high, which they don't usually have at home. If you want to have that date night, say, hey, dear, let's go out this Friday, and would you please plan it? And guys, we know you're probably not going to remember. So a day or two before, she's going to give you a reminder. But don't come up on that day and say, so where you want to go? When she says, let's plan the date, she wants you to plan it. Even if it's a place that she wouldn't love, she would rather you at least plan it, and she can always disagree, but already have a plan in mind. That's a huge thing for a woman. She's going to plan her whole week around it, okay? Men are wired for last minute. Ladies, remind him a day or two before. Guys, get on it. Plan it. Don't forget it. Put an alarm in your phone. You do it for other things. You can do it about this. It's a big thing for her. Again, we need romance. Men don't. He just wants you to be happy. Okay? That is one of his priorities. If he does forget, it does not. I repeat, it does not mean he doesn't care. So, in a lot of ways, this is Mars and Venus in a nutshell. We're from different planets. We speak different languages. Okay? And so, these are some really good things to keep in mind, for as we come upon Valentine's. Don't let, the little things get to you. Remind yourself that they are little things and that overall, you guys got together for a purpose. 90% of the time, I'm sure you make things work beautifully. In general, keep in mind that if you have young children, this is absolutely the most stressful time of your life. I mean, studies show that. I don't think any of us needed a study to show that. There's always something going on. Always something going on. Okay, so let's go into a little bit more of the Mars and Venus stuff, okay? No surprise to us women. Women stress 2 to 4 times more at home. Why? Because our brains are always going, so when we enter our home, it goes on overload. And remember, we're stressing over the smaller things. Men stress over the medium to high things. Studies show that men would need 30% more testosterone just to keep up with women, particularly at home. Men problem solve all day long. When they get home, they go mindless to regain energy for the next day, right? So let's do that formula again. Increased oxytocin in women, which is caused by us talking, equals increased happiness, which in turn increases testosterone in men, which decreases their stress and depression, also ultimately is going to keep their health healthier. That's why studies have shown that men who are married live longer. That's ultimately what this comes down to. So if it all starts with increased oxytocin, let's talk about how to increase that. Men, how are you going to increase the oxytocin in your wife? You want this. Ultimately, you're going to be healthier and happier. You give her compliments, even the small things, especially the small things, right? Give her attention. Hugs, just out of the blue for no reason, not just because you want to be intimate. Plan the dates, not just ask her last minute what she wants to do. That's why men get so stressed out about Valentine's and special holidays. They don't know what to do. But, one, don't forget and do some planning. Even if it's something she doesn't like, she's going to be so amazed that you planned it. Okay? And ladies, how do you increase his testosterone? You say things like, when he's talking, say, "Oh, good idea. You're so right. That makes sense." When women fall in love, when they have time with their person, they want more of it. It increases their oxytocin. When we talk and connect, it increases our oxytocin. But here's something to keep in mind. I thought this was pretty groundbreaking, actually. Too much oxytocin not only makes a man sleepy, but it decreases his testosterone. If his testosterone is too low, he gets grumpy. He starts to feel trapped. He wants to break out. Okay? So he doesn't realize why he's feeling that way. You probably don't even know he's feeling that way. But say you spend a weekend together, you're connecting and your oxytocin is on an amazing high. It's amazing. You feel so connected and you just want more of it because it feels good. Well, guess what? Not only is it making him sleepy, but it's making him grumpy because his testosterone is lowered. So what he's going to do is he's going to withdraw from you emotionally after that weekend, or when you guys have had a lot of time together. He's going to go into what I call the proverbial cave. whatever that is for him, hunting, gaming, golfing, watching sports. He's going to go away emotionally in some form, even if he's completely checked out. And then you're going, I was feeling pretty good, and I'm not even sure why now. Okay? This is why, guys. This is what they do to strengthen their masculinity, because they have to hold on to that. Do not pull them out of their caves. Don't say, you know what, I was really missing you. When are you going to come home and all that stuff? Now, I mean, that's genuine and it's real, but it's pulling them out of their cave. They're going to come back, and they're probably going to be more loving when they get there. But they have to have that time in their cave. It's very important, okay? Women, this is your time to self-nurture. Have your own hobbies. See your girlfriends or friends. Get your alone time. Do you know how many people I know that cannot handle any alone time? That is so imperative. Don't wait until you hit your 50s and 60s to discover what that feels like and be thrown into it and be in shock or empty nest to go, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with myself? We all need that time. Take up meditation, make new friends, go do some stuff at a gym, whatever. I mean, of course, we're talking non-COVID times. Hopefully we'll get to some kind of normal at some point with that. So you get that friend connection. You go do your coffee clutches, whatever, increase your oxytocin. Remember, that's going to increase his testosterone. And it makes him much more willing to connect and to help. So everybody's happy all the way around. Bottom line, man is happy when woman is happy, period. It doesn't necessarily work the opposite direction, but men is happy when woman is happy. Here's some more information for you to tuck under your hat. When under moderate stress, women are more emotional. When under huge stress, men are more emotional. That's why it seems to men that women are nitpicking about the small things. It's because they're not stressing about that. Remember, they have a larger amygdala, a self-calming technique. They save their energy for the big problems. If it's moderate, they can check out in front of the TV or video and go mindless. If it's huge, they can't. No football game can take that stress away if it's big for a man. Like the danger of losing their job or their home, or when the spouse or girlfriend says, that's it, I'm done, I'm moving out, or you are. That's when I see the men in my office. What the heck? This is out of the blue. I had no idea she was unhappy, they'll say. They really had no clue, because they don't stress with the smaller and medium things. It's the big stuff. And now they're listening. Now they're willing to do whatever they can to fix things, okay? And the woman's saying, now he listens to me. I've been saying this forever. But remember, if we're repeatedly saying something, they check out. He's geared to hear you when the issue is big, not when it's small. Here's another one to think about. Martians, men, think that a dozen roses is 12 points. Just an example, men points. $1,000 vacation is a lot of points. A huge diamond ring is a lot of points. But guess what? We women, Venusians, we don't think like that. A small note is worth the same as that phone call to check and make sure I had made it to work or that I had a good day. It's the same thing as that trip to Bermuda. It's the same thing as that phone call. Because we are geared toward connection. That's how we work. Okay? So keep that in mind, guys. It doesn't mean go get the big things, but you don't have to do the big things. Start with the small things, okay? Now, let's talk a little bit about John Gottman, Dr. John Gottman. His institute, they study couples down to science, to the point where they've been able to tie it to certain things where they're able to predict whether a relationship will stay together or will split, okay? They came up with what they call this 5-to-1 ratio, and that means for every negative interaction with a couple in a relationship, there needs to be 5 positive. That is a magic ratio. Now, extremely successful couples will be 20